Hi, my name is Reed Hecht, and I'm the product manager for the Epson Stylus Pro 700 series printers. Today we're going to show you how to take the Epson Stylus Pro 700 series printers out of the box and set them up. The Epson Stylus Pro 700 series consists of two products, the Epson Stylus Pro 7700, which is a 24-inch wide printer, and the Epson Stylus Pro 9700, which is a 44-inch wide printer. Both printers use our new micro piezo TFP printhead and utilize 5 colors, including an optional matte or photo black. These products are extremely fast, and they're really meant for the CAD, engineering, GIS mapping, or signage markets. We're actually going to take the Epson Stylus Pro 7700 out of the box today. This Epson Stylus Pro 9700 is virtually identical. There's a few minor differences, and we'll call those out along the way as we go. Let's get started. These printers are actually very easy to install, and they can be end-user installable. But keep in mind you will get dirty, so you definitely want to roll up your sleeves. First thing you want to do is use a knife and carefully cut all of the plastic from outside of the package. The next thing you're going to want to do is remove the pallet straps from the box, like so. And using a knife again, carefully cut the tape across the center of the box. To open up the box. The next thing you're going to want to do is, with the help of an assistant, remove the stand box from on top of the printer. You do that by punching out these handholds like so and lifting out the stand box. The next thing you're going to want to do is remove all the contents from the top of the printer box and set them aside. First, you have the user guide kit, which has the CD and documentation. Next, you have a power cable. You also have 2 of the 5 ink cartridges. We've also provided a sample roll of our Epson double weight matte paper. We have 2 paper guides, and in that same package you want to be careful because there's also 2 cable minders. Set those aside. And we also have 2 media holders. This is what you'll use to load the media on the printer later. Next thing you're going to want to do is remove all the packaging from on top of the printer and remove the outer box. Now that all the printer packaging has been removed, you want to make sure to remove the ink cartridge box. This has all of the remaining ink cartridges for the printer. Now's a good time to do a little bit of cleanup. Go ahead and remove some of the packing material, because after this we're going to set up the printer. The next thing we're going to do is assemble the printer stand. The first thing you want to do is take all of the components out of the printer stand box. You want to make sure you don't forget the printer hardware. This is a bag of all the hardware that you're going to need to set up the printer. Next thing you want to do is unpack all the hardware and take all the bolts out of the package. When you assemble a stand, you want to basically take the strut, which is marked right and left, and assemble it inside the stand like so. Begin screwing in the bolts. want to make sure these are actually nice and tight, and what's great is the printer does come with an Allen wrench, so you don't require any tools. At this point, we're going to put the printer on top of the stand. You want to have at least 3 people, 2 people to lift the printer, and 1 person to help you align the stand. Very important to make sure you actually lock the casters on the stand so it doesn't move. The printer stand actually has 2 tabs on top. These tabs help align the printer so it sits perfectly on top of the stand. So first thing we want to do is remove all the plastic from on top of the printer. It's also important to make sure you get the plastic that goes on the front. This piece of plastic actually goes all the way underneath the printer, and you don't want that to interfere with setting the printer on the stand. One, two, three. It snap into place right there. That's perfect. That's what you want, snap into place. The next thing you want to do is secure it with the nuts to make sure it stays on tight. Now that the printer's on the stand, we can go ahead and remove all of the packing material. We did use a lot of blue tape and a lot of plastic to protect the printer during shipment, so you want to make sure all of it comes off. It's very important before you do anything else that you remove the print head lock. This is something that protects the print head during transportation. You do that by removing this tape and removing all the things attached to the string inside the carriage. Next, we're going to install the paper basket. This is what some would consider the most difficult part of this installation. First thing you want to do is actually unpack and lay out all your components in front of the printer. Now, one thing to point out is the 7700 is a little bit different from the 9700. 9700 has a few more extra parts. You may want to check your documentation just to make sure you have all the right parts. For the Epson Stylus Pro 7700, you should have 2 vertical square bars, 1 square bar, 2 circular poles, 2 plastic end caps, 2 metal pins, a metal crossbar, and the fabric itself. Okay, first thing you want to do is set all your components aside and lay out the fabric part of the catch basket. You're going to want to orient it so that the plastic paper guides are actually towards the back and the fabric without the guides is towards the front. Next thing you want to do is take the short square poles, ones that have the little white marks on the end right there, and insert them into the plastic on the stand up to the white line and put the pin in from the outside to lock it into place. You want to do the same thing for the other side. Next, you want to take your 3 long horizontal poles, put the square one in the front, feed it through the fabric, like so, and then take the 2 round ones and feed them in the next 2 holes. Next, you want to take the paper basket and slide it all the way underneath the printer and attach it from the back. First thing you're going to want to do is attach the center pole. Place it on top of the plastic holder and just snap it in. After that, move to the one in the back and attach that as well the same way. There's a few subtle differences between the Epson Stylus Pro 7700 and the Epson Stylus Pro 9700. One of those is the back of the paper tray. I'm going to show you how to assemble that right now so you understand the differences. There's a few extra parts that come with the Epson Stylus Pro 9700. You have 2 square, long, horizontal bars, 2 short vertical square bars, 2 pins, and 2 plastic pieces. They're installed the following. On the back of the printer, you take the 2 long horizontal square bars and insert them into the pockets in the fabric. Once installed, you want to take the short vertical bars, place them into the plastic holders, and apply the pins from the outside. You'll want to do that to both sides. Next, you want to install the plastic pieces to the edges of the square horizontal bars. Helps if you have a friend. Go ahead, Marcos, and stick that into each of those holes. Now that Marcos is done, I can go ahead and apply it just like that. Give it a little bit of a squeeze. Then you just want to fold the paper tray up and you're ready to go. From in front of the printer, you want to take the 2 plastic connectors and attach them to the square crossbar in the front. Rotate out the vertical bars like so and attach that together. After that piece is done, you want to take the horizontal metal bar and feed it through the large pocket in the front of the fabric. Once that is done, you want to snap that in to the 2 connectors at the very front of the printer stand. That will then lock into place, allowing you to Velcro the catch basket into place. Next, you want to take the paper guides and snap them into the printer. Lower the paper guide and very gently squeeze this plastic to attach the guides into place. The paper guide has 2 settings. It can actually be set like so that the paper will fall into the catch basket, or alternately, you can rotate up the paper guides, unsnap the Velcro, push that all the way back, which will allow the paper to fall in front of the printer. Next thing you want to do is unlock the casters and roll the printer to the location where you're going to set it up. Using the power cable that came with the printer, you want to plug in the printer and using the cable minders that come with it, you can actually neaten up the cabling in the back. After you put in the cable guides, you can select either a USB or an Ethernet cable, or both, to connect the printer. The cable guides are nice because it allows you to select either the left side or the right side of the printer to snap in so the cables are out of the way. Now that your printer is plugged in, it's ready to be turned on. Hit the power button from the control panel. The printer is going to take a few moments to turn on, and then it's going to give you a message saying there's no ink cartridge installed. Definitely want to wait till the printer opens the ink door before you try inserting the cartridges. Now you want to install the ink cartridges. Before you open the package, you want to shake each cartridge and then open it. Now it's time to put the cartridges into the printer. You want to use the guide here below to figure out which cartridge to put in which slot. Simply give it a little bit of a push and it will spring out and lock into position. Then you can close up the door. Charging the printer takes a few minutes. It's very important that you don't unplug or turn off the printer during this time, otherwise you could end up wasting ink. The printer will tell you when it's done with the process. Now that your printer is set up and ready to print, it's time to load the media. We're going to do that by taking the roll paper holders that you set aside earlier, remove all the packing material from them. We're going to be loading our sample roll of double weight matte paper. And what's nice about our roll paper holders is that they can work with both 2-inch and 3-inch cored media. To switch to a 3-inch core, just slide the switch to the 3-inch position and that will flare out. To go back, just slide it back to the 2-inch position. The paper that comes with the printer has a 2-inch core. Simply release the handle, insert the end into the media, and close the handle to lock it. You'll do that for both sides. Now it's ready to go inside the printer. Just pull back the media cover like so, unlock the left edge guide, slide it out of the way, load the media into the slot, push the edge guide to the right, and lock it in place. Now it's time to actually load the media inside the printer. You want to remove the protective layer of coating and set that aside. Next, you want to press the E-Platen button on the control panel. It will tell you to wait a moment as it actually releases the electronic platen. Next, you want to feed the media down inside the printer. Once the media is fed down far enough, you can go ahead and press the E-Platen button again, and it will close the platen. Pressing the pause button will allow it to load the media. You can now close the media door as well. Once the paper has been loaded correctly, the printer will prompt you to select the type of paper you've loaded. We did not load plain paper, we loaded double weight matte paper. So I want to select that, and now the printer is ready to go. Here are a few tips and tricks on how to use the control panel. Obviously, you know that's the power button. That will tell you if there's no media loaded. That will tell you if you're low on ink. On the control panel LCD itself, it'll tell you whether you're set for cut sheet, roll with cut, or roll without cut. The way to change that is by hitting the left arrow button. You can go to a roll, you can go to a sheet, or you can go back to a roll with a cutter. The way to get to the menu is hitting the right arrow. This will allow you to control many of the options inside the menu, including do test prints, do maintenance, printer status, paper setup, and a number of the alignments and setups as required. This is the paper release button. That button will allow you to load and unload the media. This is the manual cut button. By pressing this, it will allow you to cut the roll media if it's loaded. By pressing the pause or cancel button, this will allow you to either pause a job or cancel a job. This is the print head cleaning button. This will allow you to initiate either normal cleaning, individual color cleanings, or power cleanings should the need arise. This is the ink cover button. This will allow you to open the ink cover so that you can change or replace cartridges. After you install the printer, it's very important to do a print head alignment. You do this by going to the menu, scroll down to the head alignment, scroll to alignment, and hit the menu button. This will initiate automatic head alignment, which will ensure precise placement of ink droplets on the page. The printer LCD is very important for keeping track of what's going on the printer. It will tell you the status, it will tell you what media is loaded, whether it's roll paper, cut sheet, or roll paper with a cutter. As well, it will give you the levels of the ink and the maintenance tank. Well, that's it. We've completely set up the Epson Stylus Pro 700 series printer. Next thing you want to do is follow all the instructions in your documentation to install the software and drivers that came on the CD. And don't forget to update to the latest firmware and drivers by going to www.proimaging.epson.com.